Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight into a really fascinating cosmic puzzle today. We are going to explore a hypothesis that actually attempts to bridge a 7th century historical text with the absolute cutting edge of modern physics. It's a specific set of calculations connecting an ancient revelation right up to a 20th century scientific standard.
Take a look at this number. 299,792.458. Now, this isn't just some random sequence of digits. According to modern science, this is the exact speed of light in kilometers per second. It's a fundamental constant of our universe. Basically, it's the absolute speed limit of physical reality.
Which brings us to the core mystery of our explainer today. The sources we're looking at present a pretty striking hypothesis. How on earth could a text from 14 centuries ago contain the exact variables needed to perfectly match this modern scientific measurement? Let's break down the historical context and the mathematical claims step by step to see exactly how researchers arrived at this conclusion.
Section 1. Measurements through history.
Humanity didn't just figure this out overnight. For centuries, scientists were constantly refining their measurements. Back in 1676, the astronomer Ole Romer gave us the very first historical proof that the speed of light is actually finite. Then, fast forward through 3 centuries of really complex scientific evolution, and we land at the 1983 International Conference on Weights and Measures in Paris. That is where the global scientific community finally locked in the exact value.
And the sources emphasize why that 1983 standard is absolutely crucial. See, while the speeds of all other objects in the universe are relative, meaning they change based on who is observing them, the speed of light is the universe's only absolute constant value. It applies to all waves of the spectrum. It is literally the ultimate physical boundary. Moving right along to the Quranic verse equation.
The entire calculation we're looking at hinges on one specific quote from the Quran, Surah As-Sajda, verse 5. It reads, "He directs the affair from the heavens to the earth, then it ascends to him in a day whose measure is 1,000 years of what you count." Dr. Muhammad Doda, the researcher highlighted in our sources, proposes that the affair mentioned here isn't just a metaphor. He suggests it refers to a physical cosmic command that is fully governed by the laws of physics in our world.
Now you might be wondering, is this just a modern spin on an old text? Well, remarkably, historical context shows that this concept is centuries old. Early commentators, like the prominent 7th century scholar Abdullah bin Abbas, actually interpreted this verse as a measure of extreme physical speed. He explicitly noted that this affair covers the immense distance of 1,000 years of travel in just a single Earth day.
So the researchers essentially did a mashup. They mapped this ancient text directly onto modern physics. They took the universal kinematic formula, speed equals distance divided by time, and extracted the variables right from the verse. So the equation becomes, the speed of the cosmic command equals the distance of 1,000 years divided by the time of 1 Earth day.
Next up, calculating distance in time. To solve this, we really need to unpack those variables, starting with time. The text mentions a single day. But in astrophysics, an Earth day isn't just a casual 24 hours on your watch. We have to be incredibly precise about the planet's rotation.
In modern scientific terms, we use what's called the sidereal day. That's the exact duration it takes the Earth to complete one full rotation relative to the fixed stars, totally independent of the Sun. That exact time, 86,164.9966 seconds. Okay, so that's our time variable locked in.
Now let's move over to the distance variable. The text specifically says 1,000 years of what you count. Our sources point out that the historical audience back then calculated time using a lunar calendar. Because of that, 1 year is based on the moon's movement, 12 lunar months, which is 12 orbits around the Earth. Therefore, the distance of 1,000 years translates to the total distance the moon travels in 12,000 orbits. To find the true distance of this lunar timeline, the physicists had to isolate the moon's orbit from the Earth's movement around the sun. They calculated the pure orbital length relative to a stationary Earth. That precise distance for one single orbit is just over 2.15 million kilometers. So we multiply that single orbit by 12,000 and we get our final distance variable. The result of that complex orbital math is honestly staggering. The total distance covered in 1,000 lunar years is exactly 25,831,347,230 kilometers. Which brings us to the stunning result.
We've got our variables, so let's run the final equation. Step 1, we take that massive distance of over 25.83 billion kilometers.
Step 2, we divide it by our precise time variable, the 86,164.09966 seconds in a sidereal Earth day. Step 3, we calculate the speed.
The mathematical correlation is exact. The result derived entirely from the variables in that 7th century text is 299,792.458 kilometers per second. It's a perfect match, literally down to the exact decimal point with the internationally declared speed of light established in Paris in 1983.
Finally, let's talk about scientific authentication.
Because, let's be real, calculations that try to bridge ancient linguistics with modern astrophysics demand some serious scrutiny. This wasn't just done in a vacuum. The sources detail that the physics equations and astronomical data were rigorously reviewed and approved by the Faculty of Science at King Abdulaziz University. And on top of that, the historical linguistic interpretation was verified by specialists at Al-Qur'a University. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, we've walked through the specific claims, the orbital math, and the historical interpretations presented in the source material. And we want to leave you with the very same provocative question posed by the researcher themselves. Given the sheer, undeniable exactitude of these numbers, is this simply an impossible coincidence, or does it point to something more? Thanks so much for exploring this cosmic puzzle with us today, and keep questioning the universe around you.